the drivers in Toronto, Canada are crazy. Canada is freaking expensive. I was like, wait, am I in India or I'm in Canada? Somebody wake me up. I was like, God, please, let me just get home safely. After moving from Nigeria to the US and living in the US for many years, I left the US and went to Canada, and I was shocked. Guys, I literally flew less than 2 hours from Atlanta to Toronto, Canada. And because the countries are like very close to each other, I know that they are different countries, but I just did not expect the level of cultural shock that I experienced. Guys, I was shocked. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 cultural shock that I experienced moving from the US to Canada. Number 1, the number of Indians in Canada. Sorry to my Indian friends, I love you guys, this is no shade, but I did not expect to see the number of Indians that I saw in Canada. First of all, when I got to the airport, from the airport I went to pick my rental car. When I got to the rental car place, everybody there were Indians. The person that attended to me, his other colleagues, everybody Indians. I'm like, I didn't really think much of it. By that time, I wasn't even thinking about it. I picked up the rental car, I drove to my hotel. When I got to the hotel, the receptionist that was attending to me, who was the only person I saw because it was like late in the night, was Indian. As if that wasn't enough, I took my hotel key, I got into my room. Because I was hungry, I ordered food to be delivered from outside. When the delivery guy from DoorDash came, the delivery guy was Indian. In my mind, I'm like, I've not seen any other person at that time. I have not seen any other person. I was like, wait, am I in India or I'm in Canada? Somebody wake me up. So because I have so many Indian friends and I love Indian food, so I know what it smells like, I know what it tastes like. The one that shocked me was when I walked into my hotel room, I could perceive curry. Curry, hotel room, what is going on? Another culture shock that I experienced in Canada is expensive. Let me not generalize and say the whole of Canada. I went to Toronto. Toronto, Canada is expensive. And imagine, I am saying this as someone that came from the US. So imagine if you came from Nigeria or another country. Canada is freaking expensive. Literally everything I bought. I'm like, what is going on? Food, I bought 2 plates of Nigerian food in Canada, and if I had bought that plate of food in the US, I would probably spend maybe like $16-17 ish on each plate, so 2 of them should be around $30-35. But in Canada, just 2 plates of food was $50-something. So yeah, Canada is expensive. Another culture shock that I experienced is that all the drivers in Toronto, Canada are crazy. These guys drive like mad people. So mind you, I've lived in New York for 6 years, so I know what it means to see crazy drivers, because if you go to like New York City, right, those people are crazy. Having lived in New York for that long, I still did not expect to be shocked by the way they drive in Canada. See, in the US, if there are pedestrians who want to cross the road and the traffic light is showing that the pedestrian has the right of way to cross, every single car will stop and wait until all the pedestrians cross before, and they will not even move until the light changes before they're able to move. But you know, in Canada, this is pedestrian crossing. Pedestrian is crossing, like, okay, let me use my tablet. I need to demonstrate to show you guys. Let's say we're in Canada. Let's say this black line is the pedestrian crossing on the road, right? And the light is showing that the pedestrian has the right of way. Now the pedestrian is crossing, you're still here. You've not gotten to the end of the crossing to cross the road. You will see a car coming. You will see another one coming behind you. Like, they are not patient to even let the pedestrian is crossing. Okay, let's say you've walked up to this place, you've never finished, a car is already moving through here. Like, what? As if that was not enough, when I was driving, and you know, when you want to turn right, you can turn right even when the light is red, unless they say no turn on red. I wanted to turn right. There was a pedestrian crossing. Of course, I have to wait for the guy to cross before I can turn. Guess what? The guy was still crossing. The guy behind me started honking at me. I literally had to say in my car, what do you want me to do? Should I just move and knock the pedestrian down? Or you're not seeing that somebody is crossing? Like, I was like, what kind of mad people are this one? Do you know, I had to be praying in my mind. I was like, God, please, let me just get home safely without hitting somebody or somebody hitting me. I wouldn't have hit somebody, but without somebody hitting me. Those guys drive like crazy people. Another culture shock that I experienced, I think that one is on me because I don't know why I didn't know that, is that they use Celsius for temperature and they use kilometer per hour for speed, while here in the US we use miles per hour. So because I'm so used to miles per hour, I was literally surprised when I looked at my car speedometer and I saw kilometer per hour. I was like, huh, what is going on? What is going on? And then I was driving on the highway and the speed limit was 100 kilometer per hour. In my mind, I thought I was flying, I was cruising. I didn't know I was driving at equivalent to 60 miles per hour here in the US. So yeah, they use Celsius, while in the US we use Fahrenheit for temperature, and then they use kilometer per hour for their speedometer. That's when you're driving for the speed, while here in the US we use miles per hour. Another culture shock that I experienced is that I already told you guys that the drivers in Toronto, they are mad people, but I also realized that they drive slower. Like their speed limits are slower than what we have in the US, at least for all the places that I went to, right? I think the maximum speed limit that I saw on the highway was 100 kilometer per hour, which is about 62-ish miles per hour in the US. And usually in the US highways you go like 55, 65, 75, and in crazy places like Texas and co, they can go higher than that. So yeah, I think their speed limits are much slower than what we have in the US. But the drivers the drivers, they are mad people. Another culture shock that I experienced is that Canadian weather is that one wasn't really like a culture shock because I lived in upstate New York when I was in school. For those of you who have been following me, you know I went to University of Rochester and it's in upstate New York, and it was literally very close to Toronto, Canada. If you drive, you could drive like 3 hours to Toronto, Canada. So I wasn't much surprised about the weather, but I went in October and people were thinking it was going to be cold, but I literally wore sleeveless and a short dress, and I wore that the whole day. Although towards the evening it got a little bit chilly, I had to wear a jacket, but the weather was not as terrible as I expected. So yeah, these are just a few cultural shocks that I experienced after spending just 3 days in Canada. I'm sure you guys that probably have stayed there longer and maybe experienced other culture shock. Let's discuss in the comment section if you've been to Canada or you're living in Canada and you had cultural shock when you got there the first time, or you're still having it now. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And guys, I'm still going to be posting the vlog of my 3 days in Canada, so make sure to turn on the notification button so that you watch when I post it. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.